and the screw jack goes into this pocket socket like so. And this gets placed in the side pocket like so. And the screw jack is placed like so. And this is the handle that goes through the screw. Like so. And once you get the slate up in the air, you put these roller bearings right underneath the center return track. Now, for those of you who have never covered a pool table, the first thing you have to do is you have to take the sides off. Those are usually chrome strips, or you'll find like little plugs. And we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Tell on my screws and pull out like so. And just set it down. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the bolts out that hold the rails on. The next thing you do is you take the bolts out. I've already removed two, just for time's sake. They pull out like so, and the rail comes off. That's all there is to it. You do that all the way around. Now that we have all the rails off, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the slate clamp onto the table. And that goes right in the side pocket. And then you just screw it down until it gets nice and snug. Okay, that's not going anywhere. And now that we have the clamp onto the slate, as you'll notice, we moved in a little closer so you could see much better. And this is the pocket socket, and this just lays right in the side pocket, just like that. It's real simple. That's all there is to that. Then the screw jack is placed right into the clamp, like so. And then you just start screwing it down right into the pocket. And then the table's going to start lifting, the slate. Then you just keep turning the screw jack until the table starts coming up. It's real simple. I mean, a child can do it. You can just do it with your finger. It's real easy. And using this tool makes the slate look very light. But trust me, it still weighs 300 pounds. Okay, now after you get the slate up so high, you can place the safety block, which is cut at an angle, and it goes right up against the inside of the rail of the table, across the cross member. And then just lower it just a tad, just to kind of hold it snug. That's the safety precaution so it doesn't fall on you in case something should happen. So now you place the ball bearing, the roller bearing board across the center ball return track, exactly in the center. And you do the same thing with the other one. That's why we have two of them. Okay, now you can back up just a tad. You remove your safety block, and you commence lowering the table. And always keep an eye on your pilot pin that we showed you earlier in the tape, at the end of the screw jack. If it should come out of the hole, don't panic, just you can move it a little bit to adjust it back into its position. Sometimes these tables, they sit like in a warped position, or like maybe a little twist to them, and the slate doesn't drop back in like it should. And as far as the squeaking goes, we can't seem to get rid of that. You can see, as the slate lowers, you can move it around like so. It's not going anywhere. So if it should bind, you can feel free to just pull on the screw jack at the top just to get it seated properly. It should bind up. And just take the time at this portion of it. Always make sure that it's free. And once it's down, you just take everything off. Okay, now that you have the slate back down on top of the roller bearings, you just keep unscrewing the screw jack until you can pull it freely out of the clamp. You just set that aside, then you just unscrew the clamp, which incidentally, this is made for any size coin-operated table. And then the pocket socket just pulls right out and you're ready for covering. You have everything disconnected from the table. What you do, you just turn it any way you want, like so, for covering. The way we cover it, we move it all the way to the edge. Because obviously you can't stretch the cloth with it sitting on the roller bearings. We swung it all the way around. We pulled it off of the bearings onto the edge of the table so that when we put the new cloth on, we stretch it, it won't be rolling on the bearings. And it's real easy to roll off the bearings. It doesn't take a whole lot of strength like as if you were to pull it out of the table, because it's pretty easy. So all we do now is we start removing the cover, like so. We do this all the way around, and what I do is I use this as a protective covering for the new cloth so that when you're spraying, any overspray won't hit the new cloth, and it always hits the new cloth. So that's it. The cover off, and I wiped all the excess dust off of it that builds up. Now we just wipe it down with a damp towel for better adhesion. And that's all we do through the whole slate. And just wipe it off. The slate cleaned off and it's dry, and I vacuumed out all the tracks. You didn't have to see that because anybody can do that. It's real simple. Anyway, what we're going to do now is just spread the new cloth over the table. It's going to be covered. Okay, now that we have the old cover protecting the new cloth, what we're going to do on the one end is we're just going to spray it for adhesion to the slate. Then you have to do the edge of the table. Then you do the underneath part also. The other edge of the table, so where we're going to be doing the stretching. So first, you have to kind of spray some glue underneath real good, and then spray the edge, that's where it's going to really be holding the most. And you don't spray the edge of the cloth right here because you're going to be grabbing it. So now we're going to let this set out for a minute, and while we're waiting, we're going to remove this cover so we can do the stretching. We're going to stretch this side of the table, and you just push it underneath like so. The other side of the table, so. You to cut out the pockets and just cut along the edge. Like so. And you hold it out, and you just cut a straight edge right along with the table. And you'll have like a pie shape when you're through. Then you just insert the knife just about halfway up the length or the width of the table. Cut some strips out. Okay? Now what you do is you put like a little cover over, and you have to spray this with adhesive. And come down on the floor, get a little shot. Spray the edge, and then let it tack up a little bit. Now after it tacks up, you take it from the center and you pull it and you slip it underneath. It should stick beautifully, like it's doing right here. And that's the way you do the whole table, all the way around. Just cut the edges, strip them, spray them, let it tack up, and slap it underneath and pull it. You have the table covered. Well, we're on location, by the way. That's what the noise is, with the air conditioner going. Anyway, you just slide it back into place, like so. Put it on the bearings. And we're getting ready to put the slate lifter in place now. Okay, now that we have the slate turned around and ready for reseating, We're going to put the tool back on the slate lifter clamp, which, like I showed you earlier, just slides right on, just like so. And then you tighten it up with this little thumb screw like. That's nice and snug. Then we take the pocket socket and just place it in the pocket like so. Make sure it's nice and snug, it doesn't go anywhere. Then we take the screw jack and we put the screw jack in place into the clamp and screw it into the pocket socket holder. The little copper thing is the pilot pin. So it starts to come up. You can adjust it, move it around a little, make sure it seats in properly. Like I said earlier, keep your eye on this pilot pin just to make sure that it doesn't come out of the pocket socket. So far it's moving nicely. So we're going to get it up so far, and then we're going to put the safety block under it. And as I mentioned before, the safety block is cut on an angle, so you put it like so up against the table, and you just lower it just a little bit, like so, just where it's safe to get your hand under there to remove the roller bearing blocks. Then you can back up a little to take the pressure off the block. Then you commence lowering the table. We're almost down. So far everything's going according to plan. It's not binding up or anything. If it does, just give it a little shake. Get it back in place. And keep unscrewing until the screw jack is free of this socket cover. Then you just pull it out, take this off. Then you unscrew the clamp. And I said earlier, this clamp is designed to fit any size coin-operated table. It holds it good, doesn't it? Okay. The only thing left to do now is just to put the rails back on and put your side back on, just the same way you took them off. And I'd like to thank you once again for purchasing the slate lifter. And I'd also like to introduce myself again. I'm Richard Suey. I'm one of the inventors of it. My brother is the main inventor, and my nephew is the machinist who put this together. And on that note, let us not, please, do not alter this tool in any way. Don't raise the bearing blocks or try to lengthen the screw jack. They're there for a reason. They're at that size for a reason. And we've been through this for years, and we've got it down to a science. And please do not alter it. And just respect it like any other tool, and everything will be done just fine. Thank you.